All right, welcome back. Shares of Exxon Mobil sitting near a decade low. And Goldman Sachs downgrades it today to a sell. They cut the price target to 59 bucks. It's our call of the day. Nobody owns Exxon here? Lucky people. A lot of you own Chevron, though.
Yeah, we're not that lucky for that. No, I've owned Chevron. I've owned it for about a year. I've been buying it for more. I think Chevron, when you compare it to Exxon, Chevron is focused on capital, financial discipline, and right now everything is against any fossil fuel company. It doesn't matter what you do. And I think, with a balance sheet like they have, the opportunity where they have for international growth, 4% dividend yield that's growing. I like to be in this. This is a value stock. It's one of those when I bought airlines that everybody hated. Why are you doing this? I'm going to hold this for a while. I think it's a good
being in Chevron and saying, thank God I'm not an Exxon is like, I'm a Jets fan. Thank God I'm rooting for the Giants.
I am a Jets fan too, so it's
it's
pain.
The metaphor is very close to home for you.
What you said about fossil fuel stocks,
it's like whale oil.
Well, and that's the point that Cramer keeps making.
This is the decade of battery.
That these stocks, forget the companies are still going to be pulling oil out of the ground and selling it, right? But the view of these stocks is not going to recover. That's a game changer.
So,
and why own these integrated, big integrated oil companies?
The referendum on if that is correct is going to be answered by these two mega oil giants, because Chevron has the strategy of we're focusing on balance over growth. We're focusing on austerity. Anadarko, $32 billion. No, we're not going to take a look at that. Exxon misses Rex Tillerson. I'll unequivocally say that right now. Exxon is looking at the lower price environment and saying we're going to spend because we think that Cramer is wrong and that there's a commodity cycle coming somewhere down the line. So we're going to have a $35 billion capex spend because we believe prices are low, we're going to grow, and it's an opportunity.
No, my point is, though, we're not talking about fundamentals of these companies. We're talking about sentiment around the stocks.
Right.
The fundamentals, and Cramer can't be wrong on that. There is more focus on sustainability.
12 years ago,
millennials are not going to buy Exxon and Chevron.
12 years ago, crude oil, right before the crisis, was rapidly on its way to $250 a barrel. And the term peak oil was used to describe this idea that there would be so much demand and that we would peak out the supply. Turned out to be the opposite. We're probably seeing peak demand in our lifetime, and supply is not an issue at all whatsoever. In fact, it's the worst thing to have happened for the publicly traded companies. So you combine that with the credit quality story in smaller oil companies and all of the woes that are sure to come there. The sentiment, to your point, Scott, is a bigger problem here than the fundamental picture, which is not great, but sentiment is much worse.
You don't think supply and demand would change sentiment in the future? And I don't disagree.
No, because it's not about the fundamentals of the businesses.
But
we're talking about two separate things.
I understand that, but you have sentiment surrounding these companies that is negative. In the environment we're in now, why? Because you have massive supply, limited demand, low pricing.
You keep making the argument that we're making two entirely different arguments. I keep saying it's not about the fundamentals. It's about the narrative around these stocks. That's the point that Cramer's making, but you keep coming back with, the price is supply and demand.
But the narrative
If you want to go
works.
supply and demand and pulling oil out of the ground from here into eternity, well, then the stocks may work. But if no one buys them regardless, who cares?
Okay, so try it this way. Let's say the price of oil goes to $100, and let's say the supply is nil, okay? Constrained around the world.
Let's say
hold on, let me finish, please. I don't disagree with you. And let's say demand rises significantly around the world. You don't think that people are going to invest in these oil companies if they see the price shooting to $100? Yes.
I think it'll drive demand even further toward alternative options like battery-powered vehicles.
What will
it'll have the opposite effect of what you said.
I have a better chance.
Okay, I get it.